Have you ever noticed something strange? When you were a kid, summer vacation felt endless. A single school year seemed to last forever. Waiting for your birthday felt like the hardest thing in the world. But now, weeks fly by, months disappear, and somehow another year is gone before you even realize it. Many adults say things like, "Wasn't it just January?" Or "How is it already Christmas again?" It almost feels like time is speeding up as we get older. But is that actually true? The short answer is no. Time itself never changes. A minute is still 60 seconds. An hour is still 60 minutes. A day is still 24 hours. The Earth isn't spinning faster, and clocks aren't secretly broken. From a scientific point of view, time moves exactly the same way whether you're 5 years old or 80 years old. So if time isn't changing, why does it feel so different? The answer lies inside your brain. Our brains don't experience time the way a clock measures it. Instead, they create a perception of time. And that perception can be surprisingly inaccurate. Think about it. Have you ever watched a movie that was so exciting it felt like it ended in 10 minutes? Or maybe you've sat through a boring class or waited in a long line and felt like time completely stopped. In both situations, the actual amount of time was the same. The difference was how your brain experienced it. One of the most popular explanations for why time seems faster as we age is called the percentage theory. Imagine you're 5 years old. 1 year represents 20% of your entire life. That's a huge chunk of everything you've ever experienced. Now imagine you're 50 years old. 1 year represents only 2% of your life. Compared to everything you've already lived through, that year feels much smaller. Think of it like a pizza. If you've only eaten 5 slices in your life, the next slice feels significant. But if you've already eaten hundreds of slices, one more doesn't seem like a big deal. In a similar way, each year becomes a smaller fraction of your total life experience as you get older. Your brain may interpret those years as passing more quickly because they represent a smaller percentage of everything you've lived. Another important reason involves something called novelty. That's just a fancy word for new experiences. When you're a child, almost everything is new. Your first day of school, your first bicycle, your first best friend, your first family vacation, your first time seeing the ocean. Your brain is constantly encountering things it has never experienced before. When something is new, your brain pays close attention. It collects details. It stores memories. It records information. It's almost like your brain is taking hundreds of photographs every day. Because so much information is being stored, those periods of life feel rich, detailed, and long when you remember them later. Now think about adulthood. Many adults follow routines. They wake up, get dressed, go to work, come home, eat dinner, watch something on TV, and go to bed. Then they repeat the same process the next day. There's nothing wrong with routines. In fact, routines help us stay productive. But they also create a side effect. The brain stops paying close attention to familiar activities. Imagine driving the exact same route every day. After a while, you barely notice the journey. Your brain knows what to expect, so it switches into autopilot mode. Compare that to visiting a completely new city. Suddenly you're paying attention to every street, every building, every turn, and every sign. The experience feels longer because your brain is actively processing new information. The same thing happens in life. When days become predictable, the brain records fewer unique memories. And when you look back later, that period can feel shorter because there aren't many distinct memories separating one day from the next. This leads us to another fascinating idea. Your brain doesn't just measure time while events are happening. It also measures time based on memories. Imagine you spend 2 weeks traveling through a country you've never visited before. During the trip, the days might seem to pass quickly because you're having fun. But when you look back later, those 2 weeks may feel incredibly long because they were packed with experiences and memories. Now compare that with 2 ordinary weeks spent following your normal routine. You might struggle to remember what happened on specific days because they all blend together. Since there are fewer memorable events, your brain may interpret that period as shorter. In other words, memory plays a huge role in how we perceive time. The more memories your brain stores, the longer a period often feels when you look back on it. Scientists also believe that attention plays a major role. When we're young, we're constantly learning. Everything requires effort and focus. We are learning how to read, how to ride a bike, how to solve problems, and how the world works. Because we're paying attention to so many things, our brains are highly engaged. As we get older, many tasks become automatic. We don't have to think about tying our shoes, brushing our teeth, driving familiar roads, or doing everyday activities. Our brains become more efficient. While efficiency saves energy, it also means fewer moments require our full attention. And attention matters because the more attention we give to something, the larger it feels in our experience. When we're fully engaged and aware of what's happening, time often feels richer and more detailed. When we're distracted or operating on autopilot, entire days can seem to disappear. Have you ever noticed how a long wait can feel endless? That's because you're paying attention to every second. But when you're deeply focused on something exciting, you stop watching the clock. Your attention shifts away from time itself. The same principle can apply to years. If life becomes repetitive and predictable, we stop noticing many details. And before we know it, another month or year has passed. The good news is that there may be ways to slow down our perception of time. You can't stop the clock, but you can change how your brain experiences life. One of the best ways is by seeking new experiences. Learn a new skill. Visit a new place. Try a hobby you've never considered before. Meet new people. Read books outside your usual interests. Take a different route home. Learn a language. Start a creative project. Every time you expose yourself to something new, your brain wakes up and starts paying attention again. It creates fresh memories. It records new details. And those experiences can make life feel fuller and longer. Think about some of the most memorable years of your life. Chances are they involved major changes. Maybe you started a new school, moved to a different city, traveled somewhere exciting, met important people, or began a new chapter. Those years often feel longer because they contain so many unique experiences. Another factor is that adults often spend a lot of time thinking about the future. Deadlines, appointments, bills, responsibilities, and schedules constantly compete for attention. Children, on the other hand, tend to focus more on the present moment. They are absorbed in whatever they're doing right now. When we're always thinking about tomorrow, we sometimes miss today. And when we miss the present moment, time seems to slip away unnoticed. That's one reason practices like mindfulness have become popular. Mindfulness simply means paying attention to what's happening right now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, right now. Many people find that slowing down mentally and noticing the details around them makes life feel richer and more meaningful. So, why does time feel faster as you age? It's not because time itself changes. It's because your brain changes the way it experiences time. Each year becomes a smaller percentage of your life. New experiences become less common. Routines become more frequent. Your brain becomes more efficient. And fewer unique memories are created. Together, these factors can create the powerful feeling that life is accelerating. But here's the most important thing to remember. The secret to making life feel longer may not be adding more years to your life. It may be adding more life to your years. More curiosity, more adventures, more learning, more experiences worth remembering. Because in the end, your experience of time isn't measured by clocks. It's measured by memories. And the more memorable your life becomes, the richer, fuller, and perhaps even longer it will feel.